Hello, welcome to the round 13 review after the Blue Baggers get done again, man. Once again, 6 goals, 16. 6 goals, 16, 52. To 13 goals, 8, 86 at the hands of the Essendon Football Club. Sunday night at the MCG in front of 83,000 people. Yeah. A super uncomfortable watch. Really, how many times have I said a painful watch? But it was a painful watch. And one that just reinforced the idea and the notion that we are just, this season going closer and closer to nothing or a lack of progression as the weeks go on. And you're just left wondering, what happened? What happened? What happened to the team? What happened to the boys? What happened to our club? What is our club? Fascinating journey to the football last night. The signs were there from the outset for me. So I went to get on the train. I get to the station and I am met with an orange sign at the station that said no trains. So there'll be, train replacements or bus replacements. Honestly, in the moment, I thought, oh, okay. Usually I'm pretty optimistic. And I was like, oh, God, it's a sign. Just turn around and go home. Watch it from home. But I didn't want to be, you don't want to be negative. But I really did feel it. And, so that was the first little bit of challenge. Met two people at the station, Com and Sophie, who had all Carlton supporters who had also gone to the station to get to the game. And long story short, we just bit the bullet and ordered a DD and went to the MCG, and it was actually nice. It was nice. It was a really interesting interaction, and shout out to the two of you. I saw you subscribe in the DD last night, so welcome to the Blue Broad YouTube channel. Get to the game. A lot of buzz around the MCG last night. It was very different to last week against the Ds. A lot of energy, DJs, music, the Premiership Cups. You got the photos. They've rolled out Diesel. They take photos. The Dominators there taking photos. It was a celebration of the history of not only Carlton, but I think Essendon as well. And, the 32 premierships. The besties were doing their thing outside Gate 3. Just energy generated by the fans, by the club, by everyone. It was quite cool. I felt quite good going to the G last night. And I really missed my sister, my brother-in-law, and I felt like it was going to be a game where we were going to remember it for a long time. And just, a lot of us go to the footy with our families and close friends and share those memories. And so get there, really pumped, get to the seat, game starts, and then before you know it, it's the same thing. It's probably unfair to say, the first 5 minutes, what's going to happen with Carlton and the signs are there early. It probably is a little unfair, but mate, they're there. The signs are there. Our first run of possession, I think Lewis Young kicks the ball from defence and hits Stringer lace out. Luckily, Stringer missed. But again, that first moment, you're like, oh, what's happening? Cincotta kicks a goal. Up and about. Love to see that. Grabs the jumper. Bit of passion. Peter Wright goal. Then there was a kick from Blake Acres. It was an unforced error. He was in space. Kicked it out in the full. I was like, okay, there's another sign. But the very next kick that came back, he took an intercept mark. So I thought, oh, okay. Now, again, I always look for little things of something. I've come to learn that these don't mean much. They don't amount to much. But anyway, we were getting hammered in that first quarter, and I thought we did a really good job of holding on. Thought the Bombers were not clean when they had the dominance of the play. They had 11 inside 50s to 2 in their favour at one point in that first quarter. Then we saw a few moments where it's easy to say now, but also that game awareness from some of the boys just to not make that right play. Motlop has Chera on the inside for a handball. He would have streamed into goal and had a higher percentage shot on goal. He blazed away. Charlie had a kick where he probably could have just lobbed it over to Martin. He had a shot on goal. It's probably a 50-51. But again, little moments, and they add up. The umpires, I thought, were heavily involved in the game in the first quarter. I think there was 14 or 15 free kicks paid in that first quarter. A lot of whistles. One of them led directly to a Langford goal. And by the end of the quarter, I realised we just hadn't generated any quality looks. Like the Chincotta goal was one from general play. He booted it from outside 50, but we just hadn't generated anything of note and of quality. I thought behind the ball we were well enough structured or set up, but ahead of the ball it started falling apart pretty quickly. Then we get to the second quarter. There was a kick from Wiedering, which was meant to go to Doc, and it just went straight over his head and went out of bounds. And again, that happened right in front of me. That was just another one of those moments. Harry has a shot on goal, didn't make the distance. It's just bewildering. Jack Martin seemed to get us going a little bit in that second. Kicked a goal, looked pretty lively. He actually looked a lot like what we had been missing in that, forward, midfield, half forward line. Cripps running out of the midfield on his left, kicks it out in the full. Going inside 50 was just gross. It was just gross. We had moments where we had players on for the switch in that second quarter, didn't take it. A lot of the wingers I saw holding their hands up for a time to make the switch, and then when they weren't in that same position, we would make the switch. Yeah, it didn't go right. There was another moment, because when it gets to your better players, something's really wrong. There was a moment, Chera, at this point, he was going at, I think it might have been 100% efficiency. I think it was his 14th disposal. He turned on the inside, kicked a low ball, but it just didn't come off the boot very cleanly, and it dribbled along the ground, and it wasn't clean. And then Walsh fumbles that ball, and then I think earlier he had been caught holding the ball as well. And, these are the best players. These are the quality players. And so when you see moments like that, again, you start worrying. You're thinking, oh, gosh. Then the ball falls into Snelling's hands for that mark. He kicks a goal. It was bad. Get to halftime. And this is the situation at halftime. 21 tackles for the half to 37. 10 players on our team had not laid a tackle at halftime. We had actually had the ascendancy in the inside 50 count. It was 29-20. And this was after we started 2-11. So you get to halftime. It looks inevitable. It looks like the same thing. You're trying to remain positive. You're trying to just see it out. You're trying to be a supporter. I really am. And it just keeps going it just keeps spiraling. Third quarter, Merritt goal early. Boyd gives away an undisciplined free kick, Guelphy goal. And I had written here, it's about to get ugly. Peter Wright kicks a goal. Bombers, that was their third in a row. Dead. And, at that point, like my heart sinks every time Peter Wright takes a mark, or every time something happens for the Bombers, where they kick a goal or they take a mark and the Essendon supporters are up and about. They were fantastic, by the way. They, their supporters really created that atmosphere, that real animosity. It was awesome. They were giving it to us, and rightly so. And it just looked like we'd given in at this point, Charlie kicks a goal. It is what it is. We get to the 21-minute mark of the third quarter, so 21 minutes into the third quarter, and we had laid 3 tackles in the quarter. And then you start seeing them play on instinct. After it kind of died, it got to 39 points, I think. Then you started seeing some moments of them playing on instinct and it looked okay. We end up having 6 tackles for the quarter. That was it. I didn't take any more notes. Oh, I took one more. There was that moment in the fourth. Lewis Young in that contest holds the ball above his head. I think he thought he would be strong enough to hold that tackle, gets pinged, holding the ball. Essendon goal. Game over. The Bombers. 4 years on. They do it again. Before the game, Brian Cook came out and gave that ringing endorsement of Vossi and what's going to happen and that he's going to be there until the end of the year. But from my lens, I don't know. From my lens, it's hold Vossi, build a better department around him. Like, it's more long term than what we believe. I think, we all want finals. We all saying it. 8 years into the rebuild, we should be ready. This was the plan from back then. And there's just a reality, mate. We're no good. We haven't been good for a while. We're clinging on to positives of what's happening in certain facets of the game, but we're no good. And last night was a new low, and that's crazy because we seem to be finding another way to find a new low. And what do you do? What do you do? I don't know what it is. Something has happened. Whether it was in the off season, I don't know. I mean, we all thought that the way last season panned out, it was obviously disappointing, but for that to trickle into this year and get worse, and I get it, things will ebb and flow. Nothing's really linear. It's the great unknown. The Carlton Football Club, the great unknown. Fans turning on fans turning on the club, scarves thrown onto the ground, memberships thrown onto the floor, players turning on fans, everyone turning on each other. It's just, the crumble. It's starting to happen again for us, unfortunately. And we're living through yet another nightmare of a season, mate. Another one. You're kidding me. You are kidding me, man. What are they doing? What is happening? It's beyond pointing at who it is. It's really just, if you're not on the inside, if you're not running the club, if you're not responsible for leading the club, then you don't know. And I don't know. I just know what I see on the ground. It's a window into what happens week to week. Our game awareness and our skills are it's beyond below par. It's like bottom 4 level, our skills and our game awareness. So, where my mind went last night was, okay, what was the preparation like heading into season 2023? What were the foundations like for this group, the majority of them, when they entered the club, when it came to skill development, game awareness development, leadership development? Like, what were those pillars? Because my deepest fear now with this group is that we got it so wrong from the beginning that the foundations were not set. And if the foundations were not set, then how can we expect this group to pull through? So, on the one hand, were they set up for success based on what was given to them at the beginning and what standards were set at the beginning? And but this is a group of elite sportsmen. These are professionals, and their basic skills compared to the rest of the competition, not compared to us on this side of the fence who kick the ball locally or whatever, but like their skills in comparison to the league standard, it's bottom 4. And then you look at the list, we've got all that top end talent. We've invested long term to make sure that we're going to have them there. These are our people, these are our boys, these are our players. And, there's a long term view. We're going to be watching this for a very long time. But then there's also the reality that most of the core, they're now entering that second half of their career. They've been in the system for 6 years, 7 years. Cripps and Doc and, the leaders of the club, the senior players, Ed Kerno, if you want to put him there as well, like these are guys that are pushing on 10 years. And so, yeah, on the surface level, you say execution, game awareness, but then it just gets you wondering, what's the deeper issue? What's the deeper underlying issue? Yeah. Carlton. What have they done? What has happened? What's happened to this great club? It was really interesting listening to the fan cams. We had some people who are a little bit older who watched multiple premierships. We had some people a little bit younger who, born, in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, who just don't resonate with those 16 cups. So you have, on the one hand, you have a big part of the supporter base who resonate with those 16 premierships because they've seen 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And then you have younger people who born in like 2003, 4, 5, or 2011 who were just like, what is that? Like, I haven't seen anything close to that. So it's really difficult. And the more we grow older, the more that separation happens. Changes are going to be made, no doubt. Have to be. We're 13 rounds into the season and it's not mathematically over because we can still win 8 of our next 10, whatever, all of that. But like, it's done. It's done. Like it's pretty sure it's done. Yeah, we have not shown anything to suggest that we can turn it around this year. So, and with that might come some closure. And with that might come a pressure release on them, and they may finish the season stronger because they don't have that lingering expectation of finals over their heads. But the way they were booed off the ground last night was a telling sign. I saw the footage of scars being thrown in front of where they were walking, and yeah, it's a dark time. It's so difficult because you've got players, you've got their friends, you've got their families who wear it as well, and they would hear all the supporters, hurting in the crowd, and all of us reacting, and it's just so difficult. But like, speechless, even though we're going on 18 minutes. So that's that. What about you? How are you going after that? What do you say after that? Don't blame me if you've jumped off. Quite a few of messages came through. People just jumping off. They can't handle it. They may watch it on TV. Yeah, I'm starting to watch more and more people not go to games, watch from home, turn the TV off at halftime or 3/4 time and get on with it. People who are so loyal and committed to being there, leaving before the game finishes, start to see more of that happening. I think I heard a guy walk out midway through the 4th. I remember him saying, "He's mentally weak club. Fuck this." It was like just hit me in the heart. So share with me your thoughts and we'll chat about it then. Also, 10,000 subscribers. We did it last night. So thank you very much. Unfortunately, it came under not ideal circumstances. I will do another video during the week, really recapping the journey. So look out for that this week, and we'll chat to you soon. Go Blues.